Hey everyone, welcome to my first series of tutorials for Cities XL. As I mentioned, I'm going to be covering pretty much every single possible tutorial you're going to need for this game and how to properly play this game. The first one being terraforming. Of course, terraforming, you have it on the left side, you have decorations, how to change the land and level the land so you can actually build on flat land, as most of it, as you can see here, is large chunks of mountains, so in case I want to flatten it out so I can build on it. When you click the decorations, you have terraforming here. Of course, you have three different types. You have flattens, you have medium, and you got small. You got small, medium, and you got large. Of course, when you right click on each of these, you can actually change the size of the circle. Let's take a look. This is the small one. As you see, it's by default 1. I can make it even smaller, as you can see, or I can make it double its size if I move it all the way to the right. That's what happens when you right click on the actual terraforming button. So you can change the size. Then you got the medium, which is double that, and the same thing when you right click it, you can increase it double the size or decrease it to half the size, and the same thing with large, and it's double the size of medium, and when you right click it you can increase it to double the size, as you can see, or you can decrease it to half the size of its default size of large. Now when you terraform, you got to keep in mind is what happens is when you click the terraforming button, let's take a look, you're gonna suddenly get the actual levels or the angles of the different levels of the actual landscape. So as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5 levels high. Building a road here, I do believe should be possible because it's sort of enough space. As you can see, there is enough space between each level. So to build roads on angles or on mountainous areas, you need, as you can see, just like that 2 centimeter space between each separate level. So here it won't be possible, as you can see, because the bottom like you can say hill is too steep, so it shouldn't be able to build a road here. Let me show you. You see, slope is too steep because it's too close to each other, and if you zoom in you can see the bottom level is probably this section here, from here to here, and you can see that the steepness of this is just too steep. But if you move a little up, this is sort of a little more flatter and straighter. It sort of has a lesser slope here. I mean, this is still a little bit too steep, but here's a lesser slope, so in a way we should be maybe able to, yeah, you can see you can place a road here because the slope is a little bit less. So this slope here is too steep, and to deal with that, again, you go back to your terraforming, and you can either, firstly, to build roads, you have to make a distance between each other, a small little distance, 2 centimeter distance between each other, like here, as you can see. But anyways, let's start off with the basics. First thing, if you want to make a same level, for example, here I'm going to continue building, of course, my I don't know what these are. Let's take a look. These are my skilled workers. So I'm going to continue building, obviously, my skilled workers here. I'm going to have hills, and it's not really such a big deal. It's just a 1 gradient difference, so I could be able to build on these hills. But just for tutorial's sake, let's say I can't build on these hills because they're very high, and I need to fix them up. So how does this work? When I click on my terraforming, it shows me, as you can see, the steepness, the slopes. Now, where you click, you see on all these blue dots, where your mouse is, there's that light blue dot. Now, when you click where that light blue dot is, the rest of all the blue buttons, or all the blue dots, will level out to that light blue dot level. So, for example, you see here I have a slope, and here it's a different slope because it's a different shading. As you can see, here are 2 slopes, but because my light blue button is on the darker side, the purple side, the lighter side here is gonna switch to the same level as this. So I'm gonna left click now. As you can see, I'm left clicking on the actual level that I want, and as you see, everything is now purplish. So keep in mind, when you do terraforming, it's always good to have at least an income of 20 per, actually this is just tutorials, I would prefer 30 to 35,000 because it's gonna cost a lot of money to terraform. 35,000 a click, and then what you do is you hit fast feed to 5, so you get a lot of money per clicks, and so you can continue doing this for quite a while. Now as you can see, I have a high slope here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these. No, that's too close. Be sure not to move too close. As you can see, I'm going to destroy the road here, so what I can do is I can take the smaller one and I can go about it, and I did destroy the road at the end. But you can take the smaller one and really go around small things. Now again, let's go to like a bigger side. Let's go to something where it has a little more slopes than that is required. For example, here You know, I want to flatten this mountainous area. I want to make it flat. I'm going to be building, I do believe, my elites here, or my executives. So I'm going to take the largest one. I'm going to stick it to 2. And obviously I want it at this level. So the blue dot where my mouse is going to be on the level that I want. And the rest will terraform in accordance to it. And as you can see, the blue dots vanish to when the level is sort of equal. As you can see, I only have blue dots on the forward part. It means only the forward part is being adjusted. But look at the amount of money it's taken. I have a 900,000, 800,000, 700,000. Okay, just to level this out to the same level as the rest did cost me a pretty penny. So it's not that it comes cheap. Now this is sort of leveled out with the rest of the level. As you can see here, we do have a little different level. The coloring is different, so I can level that out as well. It's not really a big deal, you know. Small, little gradient differences like this are minor, and you can still build over. So don't spend money on, even if it's just a 1 gradient difference. So for example, I'm going to be building here, and then I'm going to have 1 gradient difference. Let's say there's going to be that 1 gradient difference here, but the rest of the whole gradient is going to be the same. So you can still build over it, you know. So don't spend money on that. Spend money on stuff like this. These are mountains. I can't build into these mountains. It won't allow me. So I'm going to have to take these mountains down. So again, I'm going to put the blue dot before that. Before on the level that I want it. I want it on this level. So I'm going to left click, and as you can see, the rest will form in accordance. And as you can see, all these levels are moving away. They are moving back. So I am leveling it out, but it is costing me a fortune. As you can see, I'm at 600,000. So be very careful when you do this. As mentioned before, try to at least have 35,000 income, and then put it to speed 5. Make sure your economy is stabilized so you can continue getting that money without your economy crashing because you're missing something. Now this is in regards for terraforming, just changing the land. And as you can see, now I'm broke. But in a few clicks I'll have enough money. I'm at 35, I'm getting 25. But as you can see, I did level it out. I have a nice flat area here, so I can continue building my elites in peace, of course, or my executives. Of course, when I do get down to that, I'm going to clear out more of this mountainous area and make it nice and flat, so I can continue building my stuff. Now, in regards to building roads on mountainous area, as mentioned before, you need flat land. Like, as you can see, look at the levels. The difference between the different levels here, and look at the space. You need like a lot. Let's say this is, I don't know, 1,000 meters high, this is 800 meters high, this is 700 meters high, this is 600 meters high. But as you can see, the space at, let's say, 900 meters high, look at the amount of space I have. So this is going to allow me to build a road really nicely, because the slope isn't really steep. It doesn't jump from 100 to 1,000 meters in less than, I don't know, let's say 30 meters. You know what I mean? It doesn't jump. It's not that drastic. It doesn't really have such a high slope. So here, building a road will pretty much be smooth. As you can see, I can build. Only here, as you can see here, is an issue. But if we go look at the terraforming and see what the issue is, as you can see, look at that. There is no space between the two different slopes. They're stuck right beside each other. As you can see, you have just a little bit of space. You have maybe 2 centimeters for the whole slope, you know. But over here, look at the amount of space you have between the slopes. You know, even the slope itself, you know, so the slope itself is like 5 centimeters, and the next slope is 5 centimeters. I do believe you need like around 2 centimeters per slope so you can build a road. You know, you might even be able to micro it down to 1, maybe even here I could do it. This might be enough slope distance between each single slope to build a road. So this is pretty useful in case you don't want to spend a lot of money in getting a road to one of your sections. So for example, if by some chance or for some reason you built a populated area here in the mountainous area, and then you had all your farmland here or other stuff here and needed to connect it to it, but unfortunately you had a lot of mountainous areas with a lot of different gradients like here, you can't afford to destroy it all in the beginning. You can, of course, flatten it out like what I usually do, you know. So what you do is you obviously find a way around to get to it, to get a road there. So in this circumstance is I would look at the terrain and I would see it's here and here and here. Maybe the shortest route would be to connect this to my main populace, is to find a road through here. So what I'd do is I'd follow the actual slopes, you know, and as you'd see, there's this slope here, so maybe I'd connect it by road this way. It's quicker. But since these slopes are too small, there's too little spacing between each single slope, what I'd do is I'd widen out each slope so I can build that road there. So this is a little bit too wide. Let's take the smaller one. This is a little bit too small again, but we are at 2. So let's take the medium one. Medium one is at 2. That's too big. Medium one, let's stick it at 1. Okay, there we go. And now each slope, I'm going to make it at that distance. So again, I'm going to move up to that separate slope level. Okay, and as you can see, I did sort of this. And you can see that there is space between now each slope. So let's move a little down so we have more space for that slope. And there's so really here a road should be able to build, because every single layer, as you can see, has a lot of space. I expanded every single height to have a lot of space to support that road, so it doesn't have such a drastic steep slope, so it's a more smoother road. Obviously you can take a look at it closer. If you go into the zoom view, you can see that it goes up by one level, you know, so we are going up by one level, and then you can see I'm going up by another level there and another level there. Okay, so technically I should be able to now build the road here. Let's test that out. I'm going to build hopefully the road here, so there we go. And as you can see, you can build that road, you know, pretty easily. You know, it does mess about, as you can see, it does a little. That might be that huge hill that I bumped into when I zoomed in, but if you move it around, it does allow you to do that. So this will sort of allow you to build the roads directly to the regions or areas you need in terms of terraforming and changing the land. Well, this is it for the tutorial. I hope it helped you guys out. This practically shows you everything you need to know in terms of leveling out the land to make it equal, being able to build roads on different variations of land, and that's it. I don't really know what else to add. Of course, sometimes, for example, if it's a very high mountainous hill, you might need to go one by one level down. So you might actually need to take every single one of these layers and expand them just a little bit. So for example, this, if I'd want to make a road, of course, I'd probably end up, by the time I'd expand, somewhere down here, because there's a lot of layers. So I'll do one, here's the other layer, 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 and here's the other layer, and here's the other layer. As you can see, this is what usually happens when you want to build a road on every single, from like a mountainous area all the way down. You're gonna obviously have to expand it down so you have enough space, and so it isn't a very steep slope, so it's smoother. So you gotta go layer by layer by layer, and it does mess about for some odd reason. It does sometimes mess about. It doesn't allow you to build it, as you can see sometimes, like, I don't know, now it does, but as you can see there, it shows steep slope. You got to move around, try differently. If it messes up from up to down, as you see, it doesn't allow me, so then try from down to up. You know, there is these little bugs that allow you not to build it for some odd reason. So if you do smoothen it out and make the slopes very like low, so you can build roads and it doesn't allow you, it's just a nasty little bugs that do happen in the game. Just try building it from right to left or left to right the road, you know, and see how that works out for you. And if not, then just try to flatten it out a little bit more, you know. So that's it in terms of the tutorial. Terraforming, a leveling tutorial. And as always, give it a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe, and see you guys in my next one. Bye. Happy gaming.